Every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello and welcome. A very good evening to you. This is the CoreTV Primetime News broadcasting live from our Lagos studio. I am Sarah Ayuku. Our top stories for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Now we'll start off with President Buhari says Nigeria is in a hurry to see projects take off in the agricultural sector to enhance food security and create jobs for teeming unemployed youth. The president disclosed this at the State House in Abuja while receiving Ambassador Nasser Bourita, a special envoy of King Mohammed VI of Morocco. The president welcomed the plan by Morocco to establish a fertilizer plant in Nigeria, which would not only serve the country, but the entire West African sub-region. Meanwhile, the envoy, who is also Minister Delegate for Foreign Affairs and Cooperation, says his country has developed strategies to deal with religious extremism and has largely been successful in fighting Boko Haram. Meanwhile, the outgoing ambassador to Nigeria, James Entwistle, stayed away from the sex scandal public investigative hearing involving 3 members of the House of Representatives. The meeting, which was scheduled for today, also absent at the probe panel, was the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, who reportedly sent a letter to the committee on Wednesday informing that he will be attending the executive meeting of the 29th Ordinary Session of the African Union. This made the Osai-led committee to adjourn the probe till 20th July, when the minister will be around to provide answers to his interface with the ambassador. Meanwhile, the executive director of the Committee for the Defense of Human Rights, Malachi Ogumadu, stated that the integrity of the country is at stake and that there should not be any more delay for conducting the public hearing. The 3 lawmakers on the eye of the storm include Muhammad Garba Gololo, representing APC Bauchi, Samuel Ekon, PDP Akwa Ibom, and Mark Bila, APC Benue State. Bila's wife and child also attended the public hearing.
As well, so on behalf of the House Committee on Foreign Relations, welcome you to this joint committee hearing on the alleged sexual allegations meted out on members of the House of Representatives. As my co-chair has said, this is via a resolution by the House of Representatives that these 2 committees sit and investigate this very weighty, salacious allegations and find out the veracity or lack of thereof of same. Let me state very clearly that this committee is committed to doing everything that we can do to lay this matter to rest and or deal with the domestic fallouts of this matter at the end of these investigations. The House is also fully aware of the fact that we're dealing with diplomatic issues and that the diplomatic issues will indeed, the diplomatic angle to this hearing will indeed follow the rules, laws of the Vienna Convention, and we shall protect everybody that needs to be protected, of course, within that protocol. We shall accord the respect, and we shall work very closely with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to grant us the advice that we require in dealing with this.
Now to party politics, the factional national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Ali Modu Sharif, says the Independent National Electoral Commission cannot reject his candidate for the 2016 Edo governorship election. INEC, however, says it will base its decision on Rivers State Federal High Court's ruling, which recognizes the Ahmed Murkafi-led National Caretaker Committee. Meanwhile, Sharif insists that it will make sure the commission will remedy what he describes as a mistake. And following the actions of Dino Melaye on Oluremi Tinubu, the Lagos State chapter of the All Progressive Congress is condemning the lawmaker Melaye, who carries the flag of the APC in the Senate. Speaking at a town hall meeting in Lagos, party delegates expressed dissatisfaction over the recent actions of the distinguished senator on the floor of the Senate. Correspondent Victoria Solomon completes the story.
In Nigeria, the drama that ensues in the National Assembly, particularly the Red Chamber, between senators and representatives of constituencies is one that arouses public interest. Recently, another brawl between two senators under the flag of the All Progressives Congress, Dino Melaye representing Kogi West Senatorial District and Oluremi Tinubu representing Lagos Central Senatorial District, has come to the fore.
We will not sit back and allow the likes of Dino to embarrass women at any level, not to talk of a distinguished senator of the Federal Republic, representing a sophisticated state.
The wife of the national leader of the party. She would have been treated with all the respect she deserves. But an attack, such a brutal attack on her, is an attack on the husband. That's why we are reacting the way we are reacting.
Senatorial districts, we will wait and see what the National Assembly leadership will do to this matter. But the senator must note, if care is not taken, we will meet him in Abuja, we will match him.
State Central Senatorial Districts, we will not allow that to go low. We will ensure that we fight to the last.
In one voice, members call for an investigative panel to remove Dino Melaye.
Senator Dino Melaye, representing Kogi in the Senate, should be suspended for assassinating the character of this distinguished senator of Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Shade Tinubu, and therefore move as a resolution. Is that taken?
Victoria Solomon, CoreTV News, Lagos.
And a member of the All Progressive Party faction in Kaduna State, known as APC Akida, Akim Baba Ahmed, says he still remains a member of the Akida faction, contrary to rumors that he has defected to the other faction. Ahmed made this announcement while addressing newsmen in his office. Our correspondent tells us more.
Even though the deputy governor is our chairman, state chairman of the party, we say the party doesn't have a head. The executive of the party are inactive, they are holding political positions, and therefore they are incapable of rendering basic services to the party. We want our party to be freed of political control. We want vacancies that exist in the party to be filled. We want to see an active and vibrant APC because we believe now, more than any other time, APC in Kaduna State, an active APC in Kaduna State, an accountable APC in Kaduna State, a responsive APC in Kaduna State needs to be on the ground and to be visible. Right now, it is not. If you are an ordinary member of the party and you want to raise an issue of the party, you have to go to Government House. You have to go through elaborate security arrangements to go. And you go there and then you start looking for the deputy governor of Kaduna State, who is the chairman of the party.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Raji Fashola, says for Nigeria to have a stable and uninterrupted power supply, there is the need to have a reliable base of the country's population. The minister stated this at the second edition of the National Council on Power in Kaduna State, North and West Nigeria. Our correspondent gives us details.
The Minister for Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, says states and local governments need to collaborate with the federal government to ensure improvement and stability in the nation's power sector and should encourage their people to remain in their permanent residence for accurate census to improve power supply.
So I will use this opportunity to say today that when that opportunity for census comes, the local governments and the states must be our champions, crusading and canvassing that people should stay where they normally live. They should stay where they do business, not go back to their hometowns, because it means that we will put the facility you need in the wrong place, where you don't need it.
Fashola maintained that the need to get a reliable database for the country's population is the only sure way to have a reliable, stable, and uninterrupted power supply in the country.
We can't supply power without knowing the power need. How many appliances do you have in your home? How many refrigerators? How many air conditioning? How many kettles? In the last 10 years, our power demand has grown simply because of our telephone use. Now, who is taking an audit of that demand? So we need to have accurate figures of what is needed. Otherwise, power won't be stable. It may increase, but it won't be stable.
He also adds that his ministry is working hard to revive the work at Zungeru Power Station in Niger State and other power stations across Nigeria.
We're hoping that we can inject power from Gurara Phase 1, about 30 megawatt, into Kaduna and its environs later, and eventually to construct the biggest of them all, the Mambila power plant, which will be the largest single power plant in the country, sitting in one place of 3,000 megawatts.
Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai thanked the minister for hosting the second edition of the National Council on Power in Kaduna State.
Unless we fix NAC and we get NAC to be a truly independent regulator with competent people that know the industry, know the law, know the market, know what investors need, we will have excellent action plans and agendas, but we'll never produce more than our 5,000 megawatts.
And still on the same issue, the controversy surrounding the issue of electricity tariff in Nigeria is unnecessary and the need not to be bought for mischief. The Association of Electricity Distributors say it has no proposal before the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission for tariff hike in the power sector, but adds that if there will be any review of tariffs in the sector, it is the responsibility of the regulator. Correspondent Kozim Kasali has more.
The news headlines over the past few days has been one most of the players in the power sector may want to forget. Many Nigerians have wondered whether the federal government have not made a mistake by privatizing the power sector. But this, according to the spokesman for the Association of Nigerian Electricity Distributors, is not the case. He expresses his disappointment at what he says are false stories about development in the power sector.
None of our members, none of the 11 discos has ever written a proposal to NEC to increase tariff by 100% or by any percent whatsoever. But let me explain again to Nigerians how the system works.
On the judgment against the recent tariff hike in the sector, the electricity distributors, according to its spokesman, will appeal the matter, adding that it is not final.
We have served a notice of appeal, including, of course, filing for a stay of execution of that judgment. We are going to appeal, and we are appealing to the Court of Appeal until the Supreme Court gives the final say on the matter. The matter is not final.
He, however, calls for Nigerians to do more due diligence of the sector to understand the issues more, so that the current system of confusion all over will be a thing of the past. Kozim Kasali, CoreTV News, Abuja.
In Enugu State, a local government audit panel set up by the government has discovered nearly 4,000 ghost workers in the 17 local government councils. The panel, which submitted its report to Governor Ifeanyi Ogunwayi, stated that 3,916 workers whose names were in the payment vouchers could not be traced. He adds that this would save the state about 161 million 494,570 naira monthly. The chairman of the panel and Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Edward Ubosi, who presented the report, said that the money would be the difference in the wage bill now that the exercise had been completed. And the Nigeria Liquefied Natural Gas Limited has appointed Tony Atta as its new director and chief executive officer to take over from Babs Omotowa, who held sway in the organization since December 2011. General Manager External Relations Kudo Arashe Eke stated that Omotowa, who would be returning to Shell International in The Hague, Netherlands, leaves Nigeria LNG Limited in a stronger position and well positioned for the next chapter of the company's growth. The company disclosed that Atta, after being appointed by the company's board of directors, will be taking over from Omotowa when he returns from an assignment at Shell's Group Integrated Gas Business as Senior Projects Advisor, working on projects in the Netherlands and Singapore. He also adds that before then, he was Managing Director of Shell Nigeria Exploration and Production Company. Atta, apart from having a 28-year experience in the Nigerian oil and gas industry, is a trained mechanical engineer and an MBA holder who started his career in Sokoto Cement Company as a maintenance and operations shift supervisor. He joined Shell Petroleum Development Company in 1991. You're still watching Primetime News on CoreTV News. We'll be back with more stories from across Nigeria in a moment. To stay with us.
CoreTV News now live on all Androids.
Welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
Download CoreTV News app from your Play Store. Click on the menu to see all our top stories from politics, sports, business, foreign news and live TV to watch us live on your mobile.
I want to know why I should be believing them.
You can also click on video to see all our YouTube videos. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digi360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Welcome back. This is the Primetime News broadcasting live from our Lagos studio. Our top story for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, for more of our top stories, remember that you can visit our social media platforms on facebook.com/CoreTV News. And you can follow at our Twitter handle at CoreTV News NG. You can also watch our videos on our YouTube channel on youtube.com/CoreTV. Never space the news. With the increasing spate of insecurity and organized crimes in Nigeria, teenage girls have been victims of various types of physical violence and abuse. In commemoration of the 2016 World Population Day, the National Population Commission organized a seminar with the theme, Investing in Teenage Girls. Keynote speaker Bimbola Salu Undeyin says the potentials of the girl child is yet to be realized in Nigeria. Correspondent Akin Bakaya tells us more.
The pitiable conditions of teenage girls in Nigeria and the gradual erosion of their potentials to live healthy and fulfilling lives has caused an imbalance in a collective desire for sustainable development. Celebration of the teenage girl by the National Population Commission implies that relevant agencies are well informed about the dangers faced by the girl child. Federal Commissioner of the National Population Commission highlights the level of socio-economic threats
faced by teenage girls.
Without education, they live in poor health, and with little or no control over their own bodies, the future of the teenage girls in Nigeria is imperiled, and her potential may never be realized.
Thus, the need to address the issues posing as threats to the development of teenage girls in Nigeria.
We can address it by creating a lot of awareness. Our teenage girls, really, we need to invest in them. Because I know that when our teenage girls are well-schooled, educated, and then they have the necessary information and they are aware of why they should not have too many kids.
The responsibilities of relevant agencies to curb the excesses of girl-child abusers is brought to the fore.
We want to talk to young girls, we want to tell you your rights, and we're inviting lawyers, we're inviting all female practitioners and their associations to talk to you. We're trying to put this up.
Stakeholders present believe it is time for both the government and parents to invest greatly in teenage girls in ways that will empower them. Akinyoba, CoreTV News, Lagos.
And Nigerians have been advised to guard their utterances on issues relating to violent acts and criminality. This is coming on the backdrop of series of untraceable acts of criminality committed by yet-to-be-identified perpetrators in recent times. Correspondent Akinyoba tells us more in this report.
In law, a crime committed is not judged based on the criminal's race, gender, ethnicity, religion, or tribe. For this reason, scholars are sounding a bell of caution to some Nigerians who are quick to give ethnic or religious undertones to criminal acts and injustice committed.
If anything is illegal, it must be treated on the basis of illegality. We should not try to attach any kind of sentiment, religious, political, or whatever. What is bad is bad. Killing is criminal, and it must be treated as such.
If it pleases him, he will have made you do the same religion. And then finally he says there is no compulsion in religion. So why will you kill somebody for preaching? So definitely it is not a religious killing. Because whoever have done that are just killers. They are not Muslims.
It is important to note that caution should be the watchword of the day in order to avoid any form of religious or ethnic crashes in future. Akinyoba, CoreTV News, Lagos.
And in Kaduna State, a heavy downpour last Sunday claimed 4 lives at Bakatoshi Street, Magume, Zaria local government area. Thousands of displaced persons affected by the flood and disaster are mostly students, women and children. CoreTV correspondent Theophilus Abila reports that the deceased include a housewife, Fatima Usman, and 3 children, Alima, Usman and Nana Khadija.
Members of Magume community in Zaria local government area of Kaduna State, which is about 80 kilometers from the state capital, have continued to count their losses after a heavy rainfall, which started at about 8 p.m. last Sunday, lasting for more than 3 hours and claimed lives, houses and valuables. Members of the community attribute the flood to negligence on the part of some members of the community who dump refuse in drainages. Some of the affected persons bear their minds on the unfortunate incident.
Water just entered our room, killed many people, spoiled our things, our foodstuff, our clothes. We don't have anything now.
I personally am one of the victims because I'm a student. Seriously, that really affects me very well because I lost many things, even my documents. Seriously, honestly, I did not even get some, and some are wet.
Rain have really scattered everything. So indefinitely, according to after I went there, they told me that almost 3 people have died.
They call on Kaduna State government to, as a matter of urgency, come to their aid, as they are now stranded and some have become refugees.
So really, what we want government should do is that they should help us, people that die and some property that all the students, even one of my classmates, all their properties have already damaged. So what I want government to should help us is that they should assist all the things to them.
I want to tell the government to whether they can have anything to do, they should do the issue so that water will stop spoiling people, killing people.
So please, if the government can come to our aid, especially this thing affects students a lot in this community here.
Jamilu Usman is the husband of the deceased, who spoke off camera, saying the deceased lost their life during the rain, which resulted to flood.
Plateau State residents are calling for the building of the Jos main market. They made the call while speaking in Jos. The market, commonly referred to as Terminus, has been the target of series of bomb attacks from insurgents, which destroyed several parts, thereby making it unusable. Here's the report.
The Jos Terminus market that was bombed several times has left many traders without shops. This has become a source of concern to citizens who are calling on the government to quickly begin the rebuilding of the market. Apollo Gyang, a former shop owner, says many of his friends who still depend on the market for their daily needs now resort to selling goods by the roadside.
The rebuilding of that bond market has really brought a lot of hardship on the traders, because you can see how all they do is to hang around the roads.
A marketer, Sati Tanko, bemoans how previous administrations in the state had promised to build the market, but to no avail. He urges the government of Simon Lalong to look inward by partnering investors for the rebuilding of the market.
Since the market got bombed some years back, successive governments have made promises that the market will be reconstructed. But up till now, it is just nothing has been done to the market.
In a forum, the Commissioner for Commerce and Industries says the state government is currently engaging in several agricultural activities, which include the state production of fertilizers to its farmers, adding that attention will soon shift to the rebuilding of the burnt market.
The fertilizer plant in Bokos, which we've given it to Bejefta, a young, brilliant young man of Plateau State origin.
The market will be coordinated and reorganized, and of course it will also generate revenue for the government. And so I wish that the government will be proactive. They will, expedite actions in rebuilding that market.
Residents are of the opinion that the market will become a viable source of revenue to the state government when it is rebuilt.
The Federal Capital Territory Ministry says it will back the 2016 Abuja Carnival in whatever way necessary to ensure its success. Minister of Federal Capital Territory Mohammed Bello discloses that the ministry, being major beneficiaries of the carnival, will support the propagation of the nation's culture and promotion of tourism that the carnival seeks to promote. Correspondent Kozam Kasali has more.
With a carnival established by the federal government in 2005 in Abuja, the nation's capital joined the League of Cities with carnivals to promote them and also encourage tourism and interest in the nation's culture. This, according to the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, has brought a lot of benefits to the city. He notes that the ministry will support the carnival in whatever ways possible to ensure its continued sustenance.
And obviously we feel delighted to be parcel of this annual event, which showcases the beautiful and wide-ranging cultural activities of our dear country.
Co-chair of the carnival and Minister of Information and Culture adds that the carnival is the dual responsibility of the Federal Capital Territory and the Ministry of Information and Culture, and that the ministry will continue to work to make it a success.
So it's not the exclusive product or the exclusive, we don't have the ownership of it. No, in fact, more often than not, the burden of responsibility is more on the FCT. Without the FCT, we can do nothing.
The two ministries will soon come up with a position paper on how the 2016 Abuja Carnival, rebranded in 2015 to Nigerian National Carnival, will look compared to the past after the meeting of its management committee. Kozim Kasali, CoreTV News, Abuja.
In a tribute to late veteran actress Zainab Buki Ajayi, National Life Fatu Society, the NASFAT, organized an 8th-day Fidal prayer in Lagos. The late Buki Ajayi, a Nollywood icon, died on July 6, 2016 at the age of 82 and was buried according to Islamic rites. Minister of Information, Culture and Tourism, Lawal Mohammed, and a list of Nollywood stars were in attendance to pay their tribute. Correspondent Victoria Solomon completes the report.
Late Buki Ajayi, born on the 2nd of February 1934 in Lagos Island, died at the age of 92. A fidal prayer organized by the Nasrullah-e Frati Society, as requested by the late legend, is graced by an A-list of Nollywood stars and political leaders who express their condolences and describes what late Buki Ajayi means to them.
She was a devoted Muslim, and this has been shown in the way NASFAT has taken up this fidal prayer. It was our wish that this should be done for her.
You've lost somebody you look forward to. Importantly, we've lost a bridge builder that as young ones, when we have issues, we can go to and ask, how do we do this? So it's no longer there again.
A memorable time, I have to be sincere about that because I have the opportunity to have worked with her severally. She actually participated in one of my films in 2003, the film that I actually produced.
I'd like to say she left a very big impact. She was a very calm person, very nice, very warm, very humble, and all these virtues that she portrayed that made her someone worth celebrating.
I guess it was not meant to be. You know, I still shared it with him when we heard of her demise. It was like, well, I guess it wasn't meant to be. So her acting, I would definitely miss. Her presence, her practice of her faith. You know, she always told me, you're in the public eye.
I wish you come back. But because of Allah take it, and I have no power to bring her back.
The Minister of Information, Culture and Tourism joins others in eulogizing late Buki Ajayi.
She made her fame, her name, popularity in the make-believe world, but she would never lost her soul in the process. And she was able to put in two different compartments: her public image and her private life.
One of late Buki Ajayi's son recalls special moments shared with his late mother.
Everything about my mom, at least to me, was special. Everything from the fights to when we're watching TV, we're watching her on TV, we're watching me on TV, you know. It was always a special moment.
May her gentle soul rest in Allah's bosom. Victoria Solomon, CoreTV News, Lagos.
And following the recent killing of Eunice Olawale, wife of the parish pastor of the Divine Touch Parish of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Kubwa in Abuja, the Christian Association in 19 Northern State and Federal Capital Territory are condemning the killing, saying no stone should remain unturned to bring the perpetrators to book. Chairman of the group, Yakubu Pam, also laments the untimely death of Eunice, stressing that the akin to death of the innocent and defenseless woman of God is coming less than 3 months after similar incidents was recorded in Kano and Niger states. You're still watching the Primetime News. We bring you more stories from outside Nigeria and in the world of sports after this break. To stay with us.
You know, Angela, that's a very difficult question.
It is difficult to respond to that question.
Angela, that's a great question.
Great question, Angela. Angela, that is a very great question.
That's a great question, Angela.
Okay, that's a great question.
Yeah, very good question.
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
That's an interesting question.
This is an interesting question you pose.
60 Minutes with Angela. Again, answers to every question you always wanted to ask.
With over 7 billion of world population and still counting, the world needs to hear you now than ever. Whatever your ministry or vision is, Gospel Africa will help get you there faster than you think possible. For inquiries and participation, contact 009 503 3859 or 0812 076 0011 or visit www.gospelafricang.com. Gospel Africa, your #1 media solutions for the church today. Gospel Africa, showing on this station at this time.
And on the foreign scene, a Zimbabwean pastor who was detained after organizing a nationwide strike last week has called on people to keep protesting. Evan Mawarire is calling for Zimbabweans to stay at home as part of a campaign against corruption, economic mismanagement and unemployment. Mawarire also adds that the hashtag This Flag movement's goal is to get as many citizens as possible involved in nation building. Mawarire, who was recently freed on Wednesday when a court in Harare dismissed a legal case against him, stated that the campaign is serious about wanting change. The pastor has been at the heart of a social media campaign denouncing the government's management of the economy. And President Barack Obama says the United States is not even close to where it needs to be in bridging the divide between police and the communities they serve. He said more must be done to build trust among Black and Hispanic people, that police violence would be investigated properly. Obama made the comment in Washington after meeting activists, politicians, and law enforcement officers. The meeting follows recent killings of Black men by officers in Louisiana and Minnesota, an incident that triggered a revenge attack by a Black Army veteran who shot dead 5 police officers in the city of Dallas last week. United States officials have signed a deal to give Peshmerga units some $415 million for ammunition, food, salary pay, and medical equipment to provide the Kurds with further military and financial support in the fight against Islamic State in Iraq and the Levant group. However, U.S. officials have not confirmed suggestions by some Kurdish officials that the money can be used to buy heavy military equipment. The Peshmerga units are on the front lines in the fight against ISIL without right weapons and regular paychecks. And military officials in the United States say that a Pakistani Taliban leader accused of orchestrating a 2014 school massacre has been killed in a U.S. drone strike in Afghanistan, Pakistan and America. The killing of Umar Narai, also known as Umar Khalifa, who died in Nangarhar province over the weekend, was confirmed by security officials from both countries. Peter Cook, the Pentagon press secretary, says that Narai was killed along with four other enemy combatants in the U.S. forces Afghanistan airstrike targeting Islamic State. And now to sports news.
Power style, and that's what he delivered.
Super Eagles of Nigeria fell 9 places to 70th position on the new FIFA ranking released on Thursday. The Nigerian national team, ranked 61st worldwide in the June ranking, also dropped 5 places in Africa to the 17th spot on the continent. Making the top 10 in Africa were Algeria, Ghana, Senegal, Egypt, Tunisia, Cameroon, Morocco, DR Congo and Mali in that order. Meanwhile, Argentina remained at the summit of the July FIFA ranking. Kenya's Harambee Stars moved up 43 places to 86 in the latest FIFA rankings released on Thursday. The move follows Kenya's 2-1 win over Congo in an African Cup of Nations qualifier in Nairobi last month. Kenyan Football Association President Nick Wandwa describes the ranking as a new development and says what the team needs now is consistency. Furthermore, the national team coach Stanley Okumbi is elated about the new development and believes the team is on the right path and will continue to work hard and ensure consistency. Meanwhile, Uganda leads the region at 69th, Rwanda 111th, Tanzania 123rd, Burundi 125th, Ethiopia 132nd, Sudan 142nd, and South Sudan 153rd. Striker Tim Cahill has agreed to sign a deal in principle with Melbourne City FC and will end his stay at Chinese Super League side Hangzhou Greentown. According to David Gallop, the chief executive of the Football Federation of Australia, the player is expected to feature as a guest player in Melbourne. Meanwhile, newly appointed head of Australian League Greg O'Rourke believes the 36-year-old's return to his native country would help grow sports in the country. The former Everton striker, who signed for Hangzhou in February, has been offered a contract extension until 2018 by the Chinese club but turned down the offer. And that's the end of CoreTV Sports News and Primetime News. But before we go, a recap of our top stories for tonight. And on behalf of the production crew, we want to say thank you so much for joining us for tonight's Primetime Bulletin. My name is Sarah Ayuko. Have a pleasant night.